we have something to tell you about the difference between Estonia and Thailand, our country. First, I have several questions to ask you about these two countries. First, how different between two countries in general? Can you show us map, the world map?
Yes, so as you can see that the Estonia lies on the eastern shore of the Baltic Sea between 55.3 degree and 59.5 degree north and 21.5 degree and 28.1 degree. So there are many rivers in the country and over 1,400 lakes, which is similar to Thailand. This country have the coastal region to the sea which help about the trading. So nowadays, Baltic Sea become one of the most important shipways of the world.
Oh, thank you. Oh, the next question is how different between two countries about educational and human equality.
Okay, so according to the statistic from KVIS World University Ranking in 2021, the Thailand have Chulalongkorn Mahidol University and Tamil Nadu University at the top 3 of the university in Thailand, with a ranking 208, 252nd, 561st, respectively, compared with the Estonia that have the University of Tartu, Tallinn University of Technology, and Tallinn University of the top 3 university in Estonia, with the world ranking at 285th, 651st, and 801st, respectively. So, as you can see, that the Thailand have more higher ranking of university than Estonia. But if you compare in the look with the feature of the Global Innovation Index in 2020, Estonia have a higher rank with 25 and Thailand is at rank 44. And yeah, next question.
Thank you. So, next question I want to ask is how different between two countries about politics.
Yes, about the politics of Estonia is a parliamentary representative democratic republic, where the prime minister is the head of the government. According to the Freedom House, they gave the score of political right and the score of civil liberty as 38 of 40 and 56 over 60, with the all-over score at 94 over 100. But as the Thailand is a democracy along with the constitutional monarchy, with the prime minister is the head of the government and the king is the head of the state. So score of Thailand is 5 over 40 and 25 over 60, with the overall score is 30 over 100. So in Thailand is considered as a not free. So this is the huge gap between freedom and political right for every citizen in the country between Estonia and Thailand. So let me ask you next question. How difference between two countries in the economic?
From the data World Bank, Estonia has GDP around 31.47 billion USD, comparing to Thailand, which has GDP around 543 billion USD. But however, if you use this GDP and divide it by the people, it can show that Estonia GDP per capita is around 23,000 USD per people. But however, Thailand is only 7,000 per people. So it means that the Estonia has GDP less than Thailand. But if we divide by the people, Estonia has more GDP per capita than Thailand. And if we if you want to stay in Estonia, you just have the money around 2,200 USD per month to stay in Estonia. But if you want to stay in Thailand, you use only 700 USD per month. In the tax rate, Estonia has the same price as every people. But if you pay the tax, you can get the health insurance and social insurance. But Thailand you don't. But Thailand has better VAT than Estonia because the VAT in Thailand is only 7% compared to Estonia, which is 9%.
Okay. I have seen the difference between this economic in two countries. Next, I want to know about the quality of the people life between these two countries.
So I will answer. The access to government welfare in Estonia is easier and more efficient than Thailand due to the population. So it refers to the equality and equity of people. Nowadays, Thailand is considered the largest inequality 5 in the world. So we have two statistics to talk about. First is Gini coefficient index, about dispersion of inequality, where 0 indicates the highest equality and 1 denotes that the lowest equality. In 2020, Estonia gets a value of 0.716, while Thailand got 0.846. So the results are different since the past. Therefore, Thailand has problem of inequality more than Estonia since the past. So the second criterion that measure equality in tax distribution, since Thailand always infamous for this, with 50% contributing to 1.7% of the income, while the richest 10% accounted for 85.7% of the income. However, in Estonia, the richest 10% only accounted for 44.8% while the poorest 50% got 20%, which is better value than compared in Thailand.
Okay, so can you tell the difference between the two countries in SDGs?
So we talk about sustainable development goals. So first, countries are ranked by the overall score. The overall score measures a country's total progress toward achieving all 17 goals in the sustainable development goals, and the score can be interpreted as the percentage of SDG achievement. So a score of 100 indicates that all SDGs have been achieved. Estonia is generally successful in implementing the SDG goals. In the past 4 years, results several areas have been maintained or improved. Estonia was placed in the second ranked position on SDG ranking in 2020 with a score of 80.06, while Thailand was in the 41st place with a score of 74.54. Estonia showed positive improvement in the field of education, clean energy, sustainable community lifespan, and peace and also justice. So, however, Thailand showed better in some improvements such as poverty, clean water, economic growth, and industry innovation. So, nevertheless, Estonia needs to focus on establishing gender equality, decreasing the risk of poverty for women and disabled people, including families with disabled children, establishing effective waste managing and recycling, and decrease greenhouse gas emissions. Despite that, Thailand needs in efficiency of healthcare development is not just about improving the knowledge of people, but also distributing people education to all local units in the country. So this is the difference between two countries.
So according to all of the statistics that we have answered from the question, can you sum up That's why this country, Estonia, better than Thailand.
Yes, I will interpret it. So it can be divided into many parts. So first, about human development from HDI ranking, Estonia is shown to be superior with more years of schooling. And about the innovation, according to GAI ranking, Thailand can learn how Estonia achieve more like innovation or more patents. Also, education. Thailand should benefit from Estonia's prosperous educational system in which almost every school is of high quality and students achieve high PISA test score. And government. In Estonia, there is no monarchy. Furthermore, all of its members of parliament were elected in the election. The same can be said that president, since coup d'etat is uncommon in Estonia. Also, economy. About economy, Estonia has higher GDP per capita, which compensates in higher cost of living. And about tax, for for each form of tax, the two countries use different tax rates. Still, there are notable difference. Thailand determines personal income tax rates based on income, while Estonia uses fixed rate, and Estonia VAT is far higher than Thailand. Also, next, equality. Estonia has more equality according to the Gini index, Gini coefficient index, and in comparison, the difference between the richest 10% and the poorest 50% in Estonia is much smaller than Thailand. And the last thing, about sustainable development. Thailand can learn how to develop more areas of SDGs and must not avoid one terrible problem. This is all concluding of the comparison of Estonia and Thailand.
Now I know the difference between the Estonia and Thailand. Thank you very much. And thank you for listening to our group. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.